Hello guys and girls, it's been a minute, but some noticeable stuff has happened around here and everyone is talking about it, so I've decided I'm getting in on this. So there's actually indeed everyone. For those that are new here, my name is Artio. I'm currently on a break, content creator for Guild Wars 2, on vacation so to speak, due to a lack of content in general, but also just really busy RL, right? It's like a thing. And yeah, I used to run a lot of raid trainings and follow people into the end game content, which has now put me into the lucky position of being very well connected with all kinds of parts of the community. And yes, and I used to be the voice of the community, if you will, on my streams on T-Pods Tea Times when I was attending that. Many streamer collaborations really. And I figured this time around I'll just slip back into that role. So I spent the last few days talking to many players around the game, trying to get a feel where everyone is at. I've sorted my faults a little bit for the reveal, of course. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna tackle today. That's the chat. My faults, my reaction, my concerns, really, because I have a bunch. And I sprinkle in the thoughts and feelings, the opinions I have gathered from the community, of course, as well. Yeah, I'll just let you play around a bit in the background, just keep chatting this. I've made some notes, of course, obviously. Alright, so my first reaction to the trailer, I'll be honest, I can react this quite easily. Was I was clueless at the first, and the moment they mentioned guild in the voiceover, I just went, oh no. It was a bunch of oh no's. The graphics were basically made it impossible for me to tell that this guild was free. I think that was the case for everyone else as well. The first part looked pretty good, and then here at the cliff already, I had a big issue. It's way too clean, way too blank, lacking textures, lacking details, small things. Just nothing is really there. No moss, trees, bushes, animals. Not really anything, really, right? It's just, yeah. And it looks like every other game. Many people said this, and I agree. It looks like every other game. It just doesn't stand out whatsoever when you look at this. Which also means it's very generic and it's incredibly forgettable, unfortunately. And that's really not what it should be, and what it doesn't have to be. They only show one biome. I think we all notice this. I am not sure why this is, but I think it's a big issue. We all know the world of Tyria has to be diverse. It has to be multifaceted, with trees and valleys and mountains and caves and swamps and like all kinds of stuff in between, really. Right, and we just don't really get any of this. The whole thing feels like a vista plus the tapestry thing in between that we see now, right? I think it's, I don't know. We get mounts from the beginning, which is a little bit worrisome because we've been there before when we got mounts. I think because of the mounts, they have to make the world incredibly big, and I'm not sure they will. For everyone who played Guild Wars 2 from the beginning, in the core game, you know how big the game used to feel. We had swiftness, movement, like a to make us faster, basically, movement buttons, abilities. That was about it. And the world felt really big, and then we got mounts, and it basically went, and it felt much smaller afterwards. They want to give us mounts, which is great. The mounts are awesome, right? It looks a little weird, but sure, I guess. As long as it feels good, right? And it's, I want to say, useful, I guess. That's alright. The thing is, they will have to make up for that. I hope that makes sense. And they have to make a much bigger map, and they have to fill it with meaningful things. Like, it just cannot feel empty, right? There has to be a purpose and like all that. The thing is, we just don't really see any of it, right? It's just lacking entirely, which is really unfortunate. Question also, because I personally would have loved to see a quick glimpse at the world map, right? What are we dealing with? Is it all of Tyria again, but in new? Is it supersized ore only exclusively? Like, just an idea of where we're going other than up this mountain, right? Like what's the situation? Also, where are we going? Why we're going there? All right, like having a reason for stuff, that's always a good time, right? Not in this thing, basically. Those are like the general issues I think everyone had. But yeah, like I said, it feels more like a Vista than anything else. And yeah, and if you're not from Guild Wars 2 already, I think not really anything in this is useful to do. Like it speaks very much to the Guild Wars 2 player exclusively, where it's just a decision, I guess. I don't know. I can tell you, all the people that I've talked to, Guild Wars 2 players like the lore, and everyone is afraid that they will retcon the story a little bit. Currently in VOE, I don't want to say too much, but we're currently in a spot where rewriting reality is a potential thing. And I don't gonna say who and why and where and whatever, right? Or how even, right? That's like what. But the thing is, this would enable ANET to bring back things in the game they already have instead of creating completely new stuff, right? And it's more like recycling in a cheap way. But I find the travel into the past problematic. Going into the future generally gives you way more options, right? Things are evolving, technology is developing, areas are getting explored, and it's just giving you room to breathe and build into, basically. And with the past, we're just stripping away those things, basically. You have a little bit of lore before, you have a little bit of lore after. You have to respect both of those things. Technology is not going to be as good. All these kinds of things, right? Areas of the world are not accessible, so you're stripping away classes, class fantasies, all these kinds of things. And it's just very easy to also just accidentally get into conflict with existing lore. And if anything, Guild Wars 2 players like the lore, right? And they want it to be respected, and they will not like this if ANET messes stuff. I see huge risk for them to just messing stuff up there. I have additional concerns, because now we know, of course, this is an MMO. I just looped the trailer, but I hope that's alright. Without the sound, it's just me rambling. But basically, because it is an MMO, I have more issues. I also have not really heard them from anywhere else, so that's gonna be new for you. But then again, I also had more days to collect my thoughts, right, and like refine this, and also offer more detailed explanation for why you like have certain concerns, etc. So that's what we're gonna do now. I think the connection to the Guild Wars 2 franchise in name is not necessarily a good thing. It's not gonna be super helpful in terms of marketing, because Guild Wars 1 and 2 already had this weird spot in the gaming community, considered dead by many for many years as well. We were always the weird one that does things differently, with horizontal progression, clearly not a thing for everyone, right? For me it works, but yeah. I think they should have not named it Guild Wars 3, in my opinion. I think it should not even have been an MMO. I think a single player game would be a better option. A thing you can play on the side and gives you a little backstory to what is going on in the world. You can play it with friends, maybe set it up in a way like Enshrouded, where you can invite players over and you play with your friends, and like with like a team of 3, 4, 5 people or something like that, right? And you can go there and do that. You can offer this as a product, you can make up money, invest this in Guild Wars 1 and 2, build those games up, and it's just this cool thing. It's finished, it's complete, right? It just works, and you can still do DLCs because, right, why not? But yeah, that's clearly not happening, I guess. So, yeah. Unfortunate. Other concern I have, because this is also not shown in the trailer whatsoever. What is even the focus of this game? Like, what is even happening? Is there even a focus? Because this, like, MMOs are generally supposed to work for a lot of people, and at this point, we can actually learn from our past in Guild Wars 2. I think I'm in a weird way, I'm like almost the best person to talk about this, since I played Guild Wars 2 like way longer than most, like almost everyone else, with very few exceptions. In Guild Wars 2, we have the open world, which is excellent, right? It's amazing. We have small scale PvP, we have World of Sword, Red Encounters, Fractals, and more casual stuff, adventures, jumping across, all that kind of stuff. And currently, for the longest time, ANET tries to maintain all of this. And the problem is we have a small PvP community. The raid community is even smaller for all we know. It has, if I had to guess, it's like 1,000 people, maybe more. And the top ones of those, like the best players, are like maybe 200 at best, right? But it's still making boss fights, which take a lot of time, a lot of effort, resources. Then we have World vs. World, which, I mean, maybe they recycle this for the Guild Wars or GBG, we'll see, right? But the thing is, the question is, are they gonna do all of this? Can I get the standing picture here? That would be kind of cool. Oh, there you go. We'll just leave it at that. So are they gonna do all of this again? And I personally think not. I hope not. I really, really seriously hope not. I think they should just not do any PvP whatsoever at all. It's already not really played in like Guild Wars 2 anymore. World vs. World has the potential for GBG, right? Guild Wars, the actual Guild Wars, right? However they're gonna implement this, but I can see that being a thing because it makes sense with the lore. And I think they should just focus on open world only, right? We have the mount, like I mentioned, it has to be big, it has to not be empty. It's the thing basically everyone plays. This is where you get people involved and you catch them. Everyone is going to play this no matter what you do, but you have to go through that. And yeah, right, you have to like pick them up there. The thing is now though, if you do that, people that are, especially the ones that are not from Guild Wars 2, they will just complain about a lack of end game. I can hear them already, right? So there's no end game, what do you even do? It's very hard to keep, like, to attract people like this. And even if ANET goes for raids in like some capacity, we know that they take a lot of time and effort and resources to make them. That will take away from the open world, which again is more for the majority of players. So, right, I don't know. I would say they should just do open world first and then see what people request after, what is the focus, what are the priorities, and sort things out then. In Guild Wars 2, they just try to do it all and everyone gets a little bit, and it's just really never enough for anyone. Everyone is like dissatisfied all the time, and you can feel it in the community all over the place. It's just not good. They should just not do the same mistake again, in my opinion. So that's a worry that they just don't learn from this. The next thing, I heard this from a lot of people as well, and I had the same feeling immediately when I thought about this a little bit more. In recent times, in Guild Wars 2, the quality of the content has gone down significantly, not just a bit. As someone who plays the open world, I think it's very easy, like you just cannot tell as easily, I guess. But someone who plays in like me, like in super high end game, right? World first rating, achievement hunting, I'm like 52k points almost, right? I run into bugs all the time, everywhere, for years now. It's just never ending. And yeah, the last good expansion we had was End of Dragons, I think, and then just quality went down, went from like 7 out of 10 in Soto to, was it now? I would give it maybe a 5 out of 10 currently. If someone has an issue with this rating, by the way, I can explain this in great detail, but maybe not right now, right? It's not the place. But it's just going downhill, right? It's not great. It got more scuffed, it got way more inconsistent, and way more buggy. Like way more buggy. For a lot of people, it feels like ANET is just not testing anything anymore. We're basically doing live beta testing on the live server. It's just wild. Best example for that would be the Raid Rework patch we had a little while ago, where just straight up 100% of the patch content was bugged. All of it, the whole thing. And now, a few months after, a bunch of it is still bugged, right? So And if you ask people, they just don't believe ANET will fix any of it. It's just not gonna happen. In their mind, this is like super duper unlikely. So the thing now is, because this is the trajectory in Guild Wars 2, they split on dev time and resources, sorry, for Guild Wars 3, obviously, but they cannot really like make Guild Wars 2 work properly. Not really, right? Even though the game is working, like going on for 14 years. So the question now that comes up is, how well is this gonna go for Guild Wars 3? Right? From this experience, if we translate this to the new game, I seriously hope they just hired a huge QA team for testing, and they just make sure everything works before they release anything. They just test the living daylight out of this, make sure nothing is bugged and it's all working, it's all polished, and it's nowhere anywhere near what we currently have going on in Guild Wars 2. Because if it's that, it's going to be disastrous. It's going to be horrible, and people would take this and throw it away, right? It's going to be, yeah. So yeah, one more point, the last point for me personally, not so much from others, because yeah, I'll explain. That has more to do with the Ghost 2 community, really. And why is that a bad thing? Because we have, well, every community, let's say, has a few bad apples, so to speak, right? The thing is, in the Guild Wars 2 community, that's a very little known thing. It's unfortunately way worse. I can just hope you guys don't really know much about this. Good for you, but I am in the unfortunate position that I actually know way too much of these things. What I can say is that the vast majority of the Guild Wars 2 community is super awesome. And I met many cool people. I've done, like I said, hundreds of trainings. I did mentoring over years. I taught so many people how to play the game well, how to be like a good player as a person, right? How to be nice to people, how to hold some sensitive about issues. I always provided a safe space for everyone, right? And I wanted them to do the same, right? And I proud myself of doing that. I was very successful with this. The thing is, we have issues with a very elitist mindset in the community, or the perception of that, I guess, that has kept many people from entering certain types of content. Arc DPS and how it was used against people at certain times. I know it's a useful tool, right? I use it myself, but it was utilized in a harmful manner against players way too many times. People can only play the meta, apparently, even if it's not even fully like established yet. Nobody is trying stuff out anymore, really. It's just like one person runs ahead. Whoever runs ahead first, right? Everyone follows. It is what it is. Nobody tries anything else anymore. People are just not willing to do new stuff, and we need new people with open-mindeds that are just open for experiments and just stuff and just be experimental, and right. And I seriously hope we get this with Guild Wars 3, but currently in Guild Wars 2 that's also an issue. Another issue, we have win trading, unfortunately, in PvP and big community events, raid events, things that are sponsored by ANET. ANET, of course, doesn't know, right? It's not their fault, but it's just what it is. People straight up don't respect the rules or fair competition in this game, really. They just don't care all that much. That also means we have a sufficient amount of people who are just really okay with this being a thing as well, which kind of makes this even worse, right? So that's like a just very sketchy thing that's going on. With botting is happening, hacking, exploiting on a big scale as well. I don't want to go into way too much detail, really. I'm also not talking about AFK farming, right? Just want to make this clear. But what I can say is there was a community investigation a little while ago. I was part of that. And we reported everything to ANET that we found in great detail. And as far as we know, nothing really came from it, unfortunately, but what can you do? But yeah, there's a lot of people just reporting, automizing things on large scale. It's like hundreds of people, if not more. Like, it's a little hard to tell, but that's the situation. And then the next part, where things get really bad, that we have over the last 2 years. I mean, it was more than that, but only in the last 2 years. I had to unfortunately witness people literally committing crimes in and around Gyros 2. People contemplating cybercrimes, committing cybercrimes in Discords, in World vs. World chats, in Twitch chats. Nobody really intervening. Discord moderation failing in that regard. It's just like a thing, I guess, which is super fine for some reason. I don't know how that is possible, but right. When people sending death threats to fellow gamers, to content creators, on multiple occasions. Like, if you think you know one case, there's like a whole bunch more. Harassment is going on a regular basis. We had recently a small content creator on YouTube got harassed. I had to deal with it back when I was at the beginning of my streaming time, right? So it's been a while, but that was a thing with insults and harassment. I had it recently, because I play, of course, on the side, right? I had it more on the Discord side, right, of things, but still, like, that's still happening somehow. Markluck had a big struggle with this at times, and you've seen the way worst part of the community, in my opinion, unfortunately. I can recommend watching his video about the meta for that, because he went in a little bit of detail. I know that General Apple made a video also about Gyros 3 very recently, and people went like super racist in his YouTube comments, right? And all of these things are just happening over and over and over and over again. It's just not stopping. And I can tell you, it's just not a few bad apples. Unfortunately, it's like a truckload of apples. It's way too bad. And like I said, I unfortunately know way too much. It's just a big problem for myself. So this is bothering me more than most other people, obviously, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, also on the death threat note, it's like, to make it even worse, it's not just that this is happening. People got banned, of course, from community discords, from all of them, obviously. But then we have people in the game that they just hang out with them, right? I mean, we should call the cops, or someone should have called the cops, I guess. But there's like, I know this went down and you got banned, but I'm just gonna play with you anyway, because who gives a shit, right? That's basically where we're at. Right, and we have people like this in the game, right? So we have actual criminals, and then people around them who are really okay with them being criminals, which is completely messed up. So I don't really want them to come over to Gyros 3, I'll be honest. And we need enough players, or if they do, right, we just need enough players. So I don't need to run into them anymore, right? I rather make new friends, cool people, right, and build new communities and stuff. But yeah, like, if this not happens, right, they will follow us over there, and it's just not going anywhere. Yeah, some stuff on the end from my community again, right? I've been chatting a bunch. One thing I noticed, that all the people I've talked to was a bunch. I would guess maybe 60-ish% don't want this to be an MMO at all. They wanted this to be something else, I don't know, but it is one now. But it's a good split, right? It's not like the majority like the MMO thing. A lot of them have issues with the graphics. Me currently as well. There's time, right? They can sort this out. It's a super solvable thing, so I hope for the best. Fingers crossed. And yeah, and it's gonna be enough to make this distinct enough from, what was it, Highguard and whatever else, right? The bug situation came up all the time, and I think it's the biggest issue for many. We have the forums open now for feedback and requests, and there's also a problem with that, unfortunately, because we had multiple occasions in the last few years where ANET actively asked for player feedback, and we went there and we gave it, me included as well. For the elite specs, it was like the recent thing, right? The Visions of Eternity elite specs. And then we went there and gave our feedback and stuff, and basically none of it was heard. It was all like, it felt like all this brainstorming and feedbacking and stuff. It was all for nothing. So nothing was really heard and implemented or anything really. And this time around, a lot of people just don't even believe ANET will read any of this or touch any of this, tackle any of the issues. They just don't know why they should even go to the forums anymore. It's a big trust issue, and it's a lack of trust on a big scale, like big time. I don't know how to solve this either, right? I mean, it's also not my job really, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. Other than that, we have concerns for what happens after. There's like another thing that came up, right? What even happens after Guild Wars 3 launches? What happens to the content? Meta events are currently already like sometimes not happening. Certain meta events are just straight up not happening at all. So if you're a new player and you come to Heart of Thorns, you want to do Dragon Stand, like it's for achievements or whatever it may be, right? It's just not gonna happen, right? It runs maybe once a week and you have to be there at the exact time by chance and coincidence or whatever. Otherwise, impossible. That will probably get worse. For challenging content, we also have a big issue because years ago people decided, oh, we're just going to outsource this from the in-game LG to community discords. We have this community run, right? We have logs, ranking, you can tell who's like how experienced, etc, etc. So you can have an educated decision of who you're going to play with and stuff. So this is community run. So the thing is, when they all go to Guild Wars 3, or a bunch of them, like who's going to do this? And it's not gonna, like, you cannot just stop it there and then go back to the LFG, right? It's gonna be, like, horrible. So, yeah, ANET has to figure out a way to basically bring back proper group building into the game. They have to rework, I mean, we've said this for a long time, they have to do this. Because the discords will not run forever, right? And if they don't do it anymore, the content will just stop being played altogether. There are other things in us to figure out: PvP queuing, what is destroyed population. That's like a whole thing, right? It's big issues that will come from this probably. But yeah, I think I covered all of this. Now I rambled through my entire script here a little bit. I think I covered all of this. Big concerns, really, more than anything else. I have some hopes, and I hope ANET listens to people in the upcoming year and a half. That they take feedback for real this time, that they learn from the lessons, that they will fix the graphics, the gameplay is engaging. I'm gonna play it, obviously, right? I'll always give it a try. I'm carefully optimistic, as I always am, and I'm up for a surprise, right? But yeah, yeah, let me know what you think, your thoughts and feelings, right? I will try to cover more of the Guild Wars 3 news in the upcoming times, dip into the community even more, right? So you're not just getting my my thoughts, but also, or not everyone else's, but like a good picture of all, I guess, right? So follow for that, I guess, and yeah, see you in the next one.